I just want to say I'm so glad we're doing this, and I'm so glad that you agreed to be our presenter. I think this is the beginning of something wonderful, and I believe that this is only going to grow from here. Um, I That's really all I have to say because I really want you to have all your time.
Okay. Okay. Well, I too am excited about this opportunity. When Dr. Anderson asked us to um, put something together, board development, leadership development, I jumped at it because that's right up my alley, and so I'm honored to be able to kick off the series. I hope that you all will be able to join us for the three remaining sessions that we have leading into our July our July retreat. So for those of you that I don't know, because I did recognize some names, or I did not recognize some names, and so I just want to briefly introduce you to myself and how I came into TABPHE, if you will. And so my name is Dr. Felicia Scott. I am currently in San Antonio, Texas. I am a former state president of TABPHE and have held a number of different positions at the local and state level. I was trying to remember all the different roles that I had, but I think what's exciting about this topic for me, and I was thinking about it when I first attended a TABPHE conference. I was a younger student affairs professional and had been invited to attend this conference of Black personnel in higher education. And I don't even remember where it was. It was probably Austin. I don't remember. But I do remember attending the welcome reception. And in the welcome reception, everything felt like family. It was like home because I was working at Texas A&M, and that was in the late 80s, early 90s. And I, just numbers of students, of course, were low, but you can even imagine that the numbers of Black faculty and staff was also low. And so when I came into this room, and the welcome reception and Dr. Cherry Goodnight. And I'm so glad you were here because when she stood with her nails and said, "And the people gathered," I was hooked on TABPHE. I was hooked on TABPHE because I was like, "Oh yeah, baby, this is on." And so it became an opportunity for me again as a young professional to network with others, generate mentors, find mentors that really probably now 30 years later are still I'm still connected to. It gave me an opportunity to present in professional settings. It gave me an opportunity to organize large events and participate and as even a mentor to others. And then when I stepped into the role of state president, being able to again utilize the gifts that God had given me to give back to the people as they gathered in TABPHE. And so TABPHE is a very special organization. And when we're talking about today, moving from membership to stewardship and the role of a high functioning board member, I want you to keep that in mind as we go through this. And so there's my contact information, my email, cell phone, and I think we're going to send our presentations after to everyone, so you'll have that information. So let's just jump right on in here because we have a very tight schedule. We want to be respectful of your time as well. So one quick thing I want you to understand and know. Oops, what did I do? There we go. Oop, no. Board service is not honorary, it is stewardship. So every seat at this table carries weight. As a board member of TABPHE, you are custodians of something far greater than a title. you know, vice president, board member, whatever. You are guardians of the mission, the reputation, the finances, the sustainability, and the organizational culture of this association. And so I would like you to take maybe 30 seconds, and y'all can come off, you can come off mute because again, I can't see everybody, but you can come off mute. And just real quickly for you, what does a high functioning board member look like in practice? And we'll just popcorn it for about 30 seconds. What does a high functioning board member look like in practice?
They're present and they contribute to the mission and the vision.
Present and contribute. You good. What else?
They understand their purpose for
Understand
being
their
on the board.
understand the purpose. Okay, what else?
I'm going to say committed.
Committed. Okay, committed. Awesome. One more.
To ensure that proper protocols and procedures are in place and practice.
Proper protocols and procedures and practice. Okay, fantastic. Okay, so in this session, it's designed to sort of help us think beyond attendance and titles and move toward intentional leadership and stewardship. So the question before us is not whether we hold a position, but how we honor it. And so we're going to kind of in these next 25 minutes or so sort of frame this discussion as stewardship. So, stewardship is the foundation of board service. We are going to talk a little bit about governance versus management, the bylaw responsibilities, what are high functioning boards, how are they set apart, and then we'll have a closing reflection and personal challenge and commitment. So, when we look at nonprofit organizations, 501c3 nonprofit organizations, of which TABPHE is a nonprofit organization, and I had done some research. And when I send the presentation, I will send a couple of documents that talk about from the state level the fiduciary responsibilities of 501c3 organizations and board members. Okay, and so it's not just a matter of and I don't want this to sound like I'm uh, being dismissive, but we cannot operate TABPHE, an organization, a 501c3 organization, like an old Black Baptist church committee. And if those of you that can go back, you have the old, you got the Women's Day Committee, all those things, the Mothers Board and all that kind of stuff. We can't operate like that. Now the heart of those committees, yes, and I think that's unique to us. But in terms of operations, management, strategic direction, we've got to think a lot broader. So the board in general, and this is just nonprofits in general, sets strategic direction, establishes policy, ensures accountability, protects the mission, supports sustainability, and evaluates executive leadership. Okay, your leadership, which is comprised of any staff that we may have. Organizational leadership handles day-to-day operations, your programming, your logistics, and implementation. I have two little asterisks beside that: leadership manages, because the way TABPHE is structured, the board, in this instance, the board governance and leadership sort of mesh together. They kind of do and they're not separate functions. So we have the officers that are a part of the board. We have the board of directors that are the board members that are part of the board. And so in totality, we do these two things: govern and manage at the same time. And then we have the committees, which are listed in our bylaws, and they are to carry out specific time-bound work that's assigned by the board within defined scopes and timelines. So the board governs, leadership manages, and committees execute. So when the lines get crossed, it kind of can get a little confusing. And again, I want you to think this is really, again, big picture, general nonprofit organization development. But governance clarity is not just theoretical. It has real consequences for organizational health. So consider what happens at both extremes. If a board becomes too operational, then you have micromanagement that's going to erode any staff trust and initiative. The board energy is spent on logistics and not strategy. The decision making is slower and leaders sometimes disengage, and mission clarity gives way to operational noise. And we can, at the end, we'll have some time for discussion and conversation. But if something pops in your head while I'm talking through this, just go through the chat if you wouldn't mind and just drop it in there. I'll pick it up at the end, but I want to try to get through the information so that we can have a nice conversation at the end. So on the other end, when boards disengage entirely, your accountability gaps create financial and legal risk. Strategic direction drifts without clear oversight, and organizational culture suffers without leadership modeling, and the mission, excuse me, becomes vulnerable to misalignment. So the sweet spot becomes engaged governance, present, prepared, and strategic without crossing into operational territory. So responsibilities according to the bylaws. If you have not had an opportunity to download the bylaws, and there is some question if the bylaws that are on the website are the most current bylaws. And I know Dr. Gooden, as our parliamentarian, is going through her committee is going through the current bylaws to make sure that they are in fact the latest ones. But in the bylaws, it's just not administrative formalities. They are the governing covenant that each board member accepts upon taking office. And so, probably I know most of you, because if you were like me, I think I had gotten elected state president. I might have been president-elect, and then that's when I started reading the bylaws, right? But within there are specific responsibilities down to the commitment. One of you all said commitment in terms of being a high functioning board member. It talks about attendance at meetings, how many how many board meetings you should attend. It even defines how many face-to-face meetings we are supposed to have as a board. So all of that is detailed in our bylaws. The detail of the expectation that you serve on committees, the expectation that you invite at least, and it gets very specific, at least 4 individuals to the annual conference. So all of those things are in our bylaws. So every board member, there's 3 core duties, and this came across in the general 501c3 information from the state of Texas as well. So as a board member, 3 core duties. The first one, duty of care. Be informed before you vote. Attend meetings consistently. Review materials in advance. Ask clarifying questions. Actively engage in decision making. Showing up prepared is the baseline, not the benchmark. I really like that. It's like, yeah, we show up and we think, okay, we're here, but that's bare minimum, right? It's not where we should strive to be, even though that isn't showing up is important. So that's the duty of care. The next one, duty of loyalty. Place TABPHE above personal agendas, professional loyalties, and individual interests. Maintain strict confidentiality on organizational matters. Disclose potential conflicts of interest and ensure your decisions serve the association first. And only you know that. Only you know that. So the duty of loyalty. And then lastly, the duty of obedience. Ensure that the organization operates in consistent alignment with its stated mission, governing bylaws, established policies, and all applicable laws. This is the guardrail that protects TABPHE's integrity and nonprofit standing. So, fiduciary responsibility and financial stewardship. Fiduciary duty is among the most serious obligations a board member carries. It means acting always in the best financial and organizational interest of TABPHE, not in personal, political, or professional interest. It is our responsibility to protect the financial integrity and long-term solvency of the association, ensure compliance with all reporting, tax, and regulatory obligations, identify, disclose, and actively avoid conflicts of interest, and then lastly, review financial statements and ask informed, probing questions. Okay. This little quote here says, fundraising is not just asking for money, it is relationship stewardship. And so, again, we have that responsibility to ensure that the monies that are coming from our members, the monies that are coming from our institutional members, the monies that are coming from sponsors, that we are doing the best thing that we can and doing it in integrity and maintaining credibility. Okay, so attendance, engagement, and strategic leadership. Your presence does matter. You are elected, but your preparation and participation matter more. Each one of you has multiple gifts that you have been granted by the grace of God that you can use for the benefit of TABPHE. So board effectiveness is built on consistent, informed, and intentional engagement. It is our hope, my hope, that you would find that TABPHE is a place that can build upon those gifts, and that you can see, again, when we think about board membership as stewardship, that you are somehow giving back what you can to the benefit of TABPHE and its members. Okay, I think one of the beautiful things about TABPHE, and we were talking about this as we were preparing for this, is that TABPHE is one of very few organizations that I know of, and I've been in and a part of a lot of professional organizations that literally every sector of higher education staff can be involved in TABPHE. Everything from the president, the regents, the development officers, new professionals, mid-managers, associate staff, like secretaries, administrative assistants, custodial staff, everything in between. That is a hallmark, I believe, of TABPHE. And so your participation, your engagement is of benefit for the whole spectrum of Blacks in higher education, right? And so I know we have a student component to a student membership or what have you, but the mission, the core mission and vision of our founders, and Dr. Fluker will get into that in one of the next sessions, but that history, it was designed and created and intentional about ensuring that every entity could participate and grow and develop and move forward how they wanted to. I got off on a little soapbox on that. Sorry about that. But presence and participation, attend the meetings, review your materials beforehand, arrive ready to contribute substantively, not passively. Active participation, engage meaningfully in discussions, offer your professional expertise during the meeting, not in the parking lot, not in the, outside, with the two or three after the meeting. We've got to learn and be able to have constructive dialogue. I mean, This is not personal. It's not personal. We all want to benefit. If we're keeping the mission and vision in mind, we're going to have disagreements, but that does not mean that we're going to fall out and everything is going to go. Imagine, Reby and Irma and Ivory in the 70s when Rod was going through that history. I was like, dang, was that 1973? Is that 2026? You know what I mean? And so the conflicts that were there that they worked through, that's leadership. That's leadership. And then strategic thinking beyond today's agenda, identifying emerging risks and opportunities, support succession planning, and help position TABPHE for a resilient future. Your participation on this board should be a stepping stone for you for other professional organizations. This should be an opportunity for you to, if you are interested in fundraising and advancement, that could be a road that you use your board position to garner. You're giving your gifts, but then you're also learning and growing professionally. Okay, so it's not a just give, but it's reciprocal, if that makes sense. Let me hurry along. Okay. So, what high functioning boards do differently? The gap between a good board and a great board is not about resources or talent alone. It's about culture, clarity, and commitment to the behaviors that drive organizational health. Angie, if you could let Maisha in, I see if she's there. All right. If you have not read the book Good to Great, I really suggest that you do it. It's an excellent book that really makes you think, because I think sometimes we get settled on, oh, well, that's good. Well, let's not rock the boat. Well, we're doing okay. But we don't want to just be good. We know we're good, but we want to be great. We want to be great, striving for that. So some 5 hallmarks of high functioning boards. I'm coming almost to an end here. 5 hallmarks of a high functioning board. They're mission focused. Okay. The key question there, does this align with who we say we are? So as we are, going through we've been talking about kind of the rebranding and who TABPHE needs to be in this current climate. How do we maintain the mission in this? And so they're thinking, okay, do we need to change this? Do we need to call it this or whatever? But the ultimate test is, does it align with who we say we are? Strategic thinking. Strong boards spend more time on future direction, sustainability, and organizational impact than on operational minutia or administrative details. Accountability. High functioning board members follow through on commitments, communicate proactively, meet deadlines, and own their responsibilities without being chased. Leveraging expertise. Strong boards maximize their collective value, relationships, lived experience, professional networks, and institutional knowledge in service of the mission. And then courage and unity. Boards must navigate difficult conversations professionally, hold each other accountable with grace, and protect the organization's long-term future above short-term comfort. And then culture is shaped by what leadership tolerates. So I mentioned earlier about utilizing your board position or being on the board or being even just a member of TABPHE to create your own leadership pipeline. And so it shouldn't be, we shouldn't be recycling the same people over and over again. The board, if you think about it, if you heard my story, I came in as a young professional. I was enamored by Dr. Gooden. I said, okay, well, let me see how I can get involved. I got on a committee. I can't remember which one it was. I was, doing that. And then it was like, oh, okay, now oh, you know what? Maybe I'll run for something. Okay, I think it was secretary. I ran for secretary. Got it. Oh, wow. And so next thing, okay, let's move up. I think I was kind of voluntold to move up into the next level. I think I did vice president of programs. And then it was like, okay, oh wow, could I be state president? I don't have to be 80 years old and have 50 years of experience behind me to possibly be the state president. And so that pipeline, that's what this organization does. That's being on this board does, is creating a leadership pipeline. Okay. What we consistently tolerate, we implicitly approve. Okay. So board culture is not written in policy, it's modeled in behavior. When disengagement, chronic absence, or poor follow through go unaddressed, they become the standard. When accountability is celebrated, it becomes the culture. Okay. So we create the culture, the board. And so what we do and how we do that trickles down to the membership, right? So if the board is disengaged, if the board is haphazard, what more could we expect of the members? Okay, I'll just leave that at that. Okay. All right. So behaviors that build and break board trust. Behaviors that build board trust: consistent follow through on commitments, transparent and honest communication, respectful engagement during disagreements, preparation and active participation, and mentoring and investing in others. And no other organization does that better than TABPHE, mentoring and investing in others. Behaviors that weaken boards: chronic absence or passive attendance, personal agendas overriding mission, gossip or lack of confidentiality, micromanaging staff, and again, that we really don't have staff per se at this point right now, resistance to accountability. And so TABPHE exists at the intersection. I love how this is said, exists at the intersection of Black excellence, higher education, and professional advocacy. Today's climate demands that boards are both visionary and fiscally responsible. If we want to be around another 52 years, 53 years, we have to ask the hard questions. We have to have the hard questions. We have to balance advocacy, championing Black professionals in higher education through visibility, voice, and courageous representation in spaces of influence. Our local chapters, strengthening our local chapters is going to be so important um, because of the way some things are. People aren't necessarily able to travel, able to come to the annual conference, but those local chapters that are right there in the city, you can push the mission of the organization down to the communities, and that's the power of the local chapter. Mission alignment: every initiative, partnership, and allocation of energy must connect back to why TABPHE exists and who it serves. And then sustainability: protect the organization's financial and operational health so that we can continue to serve future generations of Black higher education professionals. So the challenge, as we close for real, I think this is a second close. I got one more. As we close, I invite you for honest personal reflection. These are not questions for the board as a whole. They are questions for you as an individual steward of this association's future. What unique value do I bring? Your professional expertise, your lived experience, and relationships are organizational assets. Are you actively deploying them in service of TABPHE? Question number 2: where can I increase my engagement? Honest self-assessment is the first step toward growth. Where are the gaps between your current contribution and your fullest capacity? Do you know how you can engage? Do you know where you can engage? What are your time commitments? Okay, so having that honest self-assessment. And then the third question for you: what does stewardship look like this season? We We all have seasons. We all have seasons. TABPHE is in a specific season of its organizational life. What does what does faithful strategic stewardship require of you right now? Okay. So, what unique value do you bring? Where can you increase your engagement? What does stewardship look like this season? And as we go through the remaining sessions of this board development series, I want you to keep that in mind because when our um, president-elect comes at the last session, she will call you on some things. She's going to call you on some things. And so I want you to, as I finally close, a healthy organization is rarely accidental. It is the result, usually, of intentional governance, courageous leadership, and committed stewardship. The work that you do as board members of TABPHE carries weight that extends far beyond any single meeting, initiative, or term of service. You are shaping an organization that exists to support, elevate, and advocate for Black professionals in higher education. A mission that we know has never been more urgent or more necessary. Governance done well is a gift to every member that TABPHE serves, and to every leader who will follow in your footsteps. So, govern with intention, lead with courage, and serve with commitment. And then this is just a quick guide. Again, you'll get it. It kind of goes through the three duties: fiduciary responsibility and strategic leadership. So, with that, let us unmute and share, comment. I don't know if there were any things in the chat, Dr. Anderson, but we have about 15 more minutes to engage. So,
Dr. Scott,
yes.
the questions that you had toward the end,
Mm-hmm.
those reflective questions,
Yes.
to me, that seems like that is the perfect place to start the conversation.
Okay.
And not even have to wait until later on. But I think if let's start the engagement now.
Okay. I'll drop the questions in the chat. I'll drop the questions in the chat and then we can just keep talking.
Dr.
Well,
Scott,
I'm sorry.
I'd just like to say thank you for your excellent presentation and clarity for us all, that we all can evaluate where we are. Very good. And I hope that you're able to share your PowerPoint with us.
Yes.
I'd like to even review that again. Early on, our power went out. We got real bad storms here in North Texas. But I'm so glad I was able to get on, and thank you so much. I just want to put a shout out to the importance of our past presidents and their active participation in the life of TABPHE. As I mentioned at our last conference, that we've had 23 presidents, therefore, and it's never been about any one of them. It's about the name itself. It's about TABPHE. It's what the founders saw that would be needed, and we're all just passing through. We have our 2 years, and we go on. We learn for what we've done and where we're going. We know we're not ever stop growing, but however, we still need to continue to be committed to TABPHE. I applaud you, and to the Flukers, and to Connie Williams, Dr. Connie Williams, and Dr. Cherry Gooden. They tirelessly continue to pour in Dr. Curtis Hill, Dr. Arthur Gregg, and others. I'm not getting them all right now, but they show up at different times and fill in the gap. And I appreciate you all. And Rod, I want to thank you. Man, it's we know the journey, executive director and all of that, but man, brother, I really appreciate your steadfastness to say, hey, I don't need a title. And man, that is very humbling to me, brother. That is very humbling that, hey, I'm still here. Wherever I can help, thank you. Hey, I'm able to, however I can help. And brother, thank you. And I appreciate that. And truly, truly. And so as long as we're serving others that we can't even see yet. And so I just, yeah, because our four parents, our founders of the organization are all gone. They're in glory. And yet we're still here. They saw us. We got to see the next generation after we're gone. And like you said, Dr. Scott, where's TABPHE? If we don't dig in right now and see where we'll be another 25, another 50 years from now, we got to think long range like that. So thank you for the challenge for all of us. And I believe today, after the Zoom is ended, we all have to go back to the drawing board and do our own personal homework. Thank you,
Right.
Dr. Scott.
Thank you. Thank you. Whoever's talking, you're real choppy. I don't know if you're in a bad space or I can't even tell who's talking actually.
Kelly, were you going to say
Dr.
something? All right.
Yeah, Dr. Anderson. Yeah, this is Cherry Gooden. You know, I was gonna jump off, but I couldn't. So now I'm hungry, but I could not leave because I wanted to hear the full presentation, and I'm glad that I did. Dr. Scott, of course, kudos to you for leading the charge on this, being the first presenter of the three of four, the remaining three of us. And I want to thank you for how you presented with clarity. You focused on some very important essentials as it relates to our responsibilities as board members. So I'm looking forward to really looking at those questions myself. Having been in for so many years, man, I need to do fresh eyes on this thing, is what
Right,
I'm saying.
right,
Now, based on what my role is as a, on the other end, so to speak, of the leadership thing. But I may need to rethink that. So thank you so much, Dr. Felicia, for your preciseness and the work you put in preparing this for us to deliver in the time frame you delivered it. And you are to be congratulated. And so I say thank you again and congratulations on a fine presentation.
thank you. That means a lot. That means a lot coming from you because again, you talk about modeling and I yeah, so that means a lot. So all right, doctor, I see doctors Rod and Lori Fluker's hand up.
Yes, I'd like to say ditto to what Dr. Gooden said. Outstanding presentation. I think many of us are members of other organizations as well as TABPHE, and I think that what you've reminded us of this evening is that in many instances we forget why. And I think this presentation, above all, has reminded us that there is a why. And there's a rhyme and reason to what it is we're supposed to be doing, and we may well have strayed from that in this instance and in other instances, but you've given us that reminder, and so I also want to applaud you for your presentation, and I'm hopeful that I know we've got a board meeting coming up. We've got a board retreat, and maybe this is some of the things that we need to be talking about in our board retreat, just to get us back in track on what it is we're supposed to be doing. And and if we stray too far from what you've reminded us of, I think we're likely to lose our organizations if we don't do that. And so I too want to applaud you and thank you for reminding me why it is I've stayed around so long with TABPHE. Thank you so much.
And also, while we have the mic, let's be honest, our board is not as effective as it could be. A lot of the points, as you went through the presentation, Dr. Felicia, I could apply examples to, all the good, bad, and ugly. And I think although bonding and team building, those things are important, that's about all we've done when it comes to board development in the past. This is the first time we've really gotten into the weeds and the details as far as how we can become a better board. So thank you for that.
Awesome. We have about 5 more minutes. So any comments, maybe from our some of our newer board members, board of directors.
I'll share, Madam President. Yes, this was very refreshing. For someone who is a newer board member, this really provided some insight on, again, yes, the why, but how I need to conduct myself when it comes to the role that I've committed myself to. So thank you for this outline and this framework. Um, and I'm looking forward to the remaining three. But I'm hoping that this can be a yearly sort of series that we can have before our face-to-face or retreat, that we can have this refresher to keep us reminded of what it is that we need to do to keep this foundation strong and continue to move forward.
Awesome. And I couldn't see who was talking, so can you say who you were?
Uh, Daryl,
Oh, hey, Daryl.
current
Okay.
secretary. Thank
Okay.
you.
Okay. I don't have the gallery view, so I couldn't see who was talking. So okay, maybe one more comment.
Well, I would like to say something. This is Dr. Jessica Perry Marshall. I forgot to put my name in, but hello, everyone.
Hello.
Uh, when you say in church, you're stepping on our toes or stepping on my toes, as far as the realization as to a recommitment or either a realization as to what this commitment means to TABPHE, what it means to grow. Great highlights. And so I hope that you will share your PowerPoint with us so therefore
Yes.
we can reflect on that, because you have definitely given me a lot to reflect on. I've been a board member before, and I can see the pros and cons as to our bylaws, as to what was kept and what was not kept, but that's on us on that part. But this is a new refresher, so I'm excited about us moving forward. Thank you.
Awesome. 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 Okay. Well, I think that we said that we would do 30 minutes and then have about a 15-minute presentation, and I think we've accomplished that. So I know I did rush through it, but I like I said, I wanted to make sure that we left time to have some dialogue, because I think that one of the things that we were talking about in preparing this series is the importance of now, and the board, just with looking at who all is on currently on the board or whatever, and just a little bit that I know about the newbies or whatever. We need the collective genius of everyone, to be able to not just maintain TABPHE, but and not to just sustain it, but really to propel it into the future, and have that vision, a collective vision. And I said, I can't help but keep thinking about Reby and Ivory and Irma, and the toils that they went through in the times that they went through. And I'm not stepping too much into your presentation, Dr. Rod, but when we look at what's happening in 2026, we can't shrink. We cannot shrink. We have to gird up,
Mhm.
and the way we got to start kind of having some of those Underground Railroad type messages being sent. You know what I mean? So yeah. Dr. Basadi, yes, ma'am. Go ahead, say something.
Okay, I had to unmute myself. So, you all know I don't say a whole lot, but I felt like I needed to say this. This is my second time around on the board. And when I think about the mission and the vision of TABPHE, I'm a product of that. I don't know that many of y'all know that Dr. Scott knew me when I was 17 years old as a student at Texas A&M University. And so because of all of the, amazing things that she was doing, she was able to bring those things back and pour into those of us at, this large, predominantly white institution, where some of us didn't know, top from bottom, right? Yes, she was only 18 herself, correct. Um, And so, not only her, Dr. Kevin Carruthers, they were there at the same time. And so being able to quote unquote be raised up under such, amazing people and then becoming one of those people that then became able to mentor others. That's what this organization is about. And sometimes I'll admit I've gotten frustrated, I've gotten sad because I know what we can do and I don't always see it. And so that is what prompted me to come back. But we have to create an environment where those of us who are either coming back or coming for the first time, where they can feel seen, they can feel heard, that their giftings can be used, and that they don't feel like they have to sit back and not step on anybody's toes or feel like they're talking too much or any of those kinds of things, because we can do such amazing things. We've done it before, we can and we will do it again. So that's what I wanted to say.
Oh, I'm so glad, Masadi, that you came off and said that. And I think that is it. It couldn't that couldn't have been a better closing thought. And um, yeah, it's just full circle. And I'm tickled inside because Kevin, I think, was the one who brought me to introduce me to Taffy. You know what I mean? So that's what I'm saying. It's like it's full circle. It's full circle, and the beauty. That's the beauty of this organization. That's the genius of this organization. And I too, I get sad sometimes. I get frustrated sometimes, but then I have to remember, why. And so that's I think that's that I don't think I know that's why we keep coming back. It's like we like roaches. We're just gonna keep coming. We're just gonna keep keep coming. So,
I
but
am not a roach.
all right. Any last comments, President Leslie? Do you want to any final comments, and then we will let you all get back to your evening.
Be,
Go ahead.
before Dr. Charles speak, I just want to give a plug for next week. This is a 3-week series, and so at the same time each week, uh, because this is the first time we're doing this, all board members are required to either participate in the live presentation like we're doing now, or watch the video. We're going to have a video out that they have to go in, and then they're going to have to take some kind of assessment after to make sure you didn't just turn it on and walk away. Uh, After this round, it'll just be for new board members. The TAFE board will be required to do the three-part series of onboard training, and others are invited to refresh if you choose to. It's no longer required. It's only required for you to do this one time. But this is good stuff. I'm going to get a plug for next week. Dr. Cherry will be presenting on how to conduct meetings and Robert Rules of Order, parliamentary procedures. So that's what we're looking forward to for this time next week. Same time, same place. Yes, sir,
Yes,
Mr.
and
President.
thank you, Rod. Um, I was listening to Dr. Masadi talk about uh, feeling like maybe my opinion may not matter or that I need to sit back. And that's part of why we're talking parliamentary procedure, because it is designed specifically to ensure everyone's voice has worth. But you have to know how to do it in a way that says, This is not personal. This is parliamentary procedure. And
Right.
so I look forward to, thank you, Rod, for that plug. And I look
Yes.
forward to going to the next level. Felicia, as I told Felicia before, we had assignments as we were preparing, and by the time we'd come off our little meetings, her assignment would be done and posted. I'm like, wait a minute, I need to get on the ball. So you have set the bar high, Sister Felicia, and I thank you for that. All right. I'm going to sign off now. And again, I'm in Orlando. I just finished up a National Teacher Institute. So I'm going to go have dinner, then I'm out of here and back home tomorrow. So talk with you all later. Have a good evening.
Thank
All
you.
right. And appreciate each of you. Bye-bye.
And you. Thank you. All right, Miss Dr. Leslie, it's on you.
Just thank you all. Thank you all for joining in on tonight. It takes all of us, not just a few people that make a presentation or having a meeting. So if you are just coming back, just come on back and just sign up and just log on. You don't have to not just be a brand new a member on, but we all can learn something. Lord willing, I plan on being here next Tuesday as well. So God bless you all. Thank you all for everything and all that and see you all soon
All
at our
right.
summer board retreat, if not next week. All right. God
All
bless
Thank
right.
you
you,
all.
Flee.
We
All
love
right.
you.
Bye. Good
All right.
All
night.
right.
Bye-bye.
Thank you for your
Take care,
Good
guys.
night.
dedication, Kathy.
God bless everybody. Bye bye.
God bless
Bye.
you. Ready. Do you need me to stay?
No.
You sure?
Oh, no. I can end the meeting.
No, I'm just making sure because I know I was like, I was your co-host. I wanted to make sure that you've
Oh
got
no, I got it. I can end. I'm about to end it.
okay.
All
All
right.
right.
Bye.
Okay.